Where there's smoke, there's fire, and it appears that the MCU is trying to do everything they can to lift the box office higher. But Fantastic Four could be the door shutting on opportunities. Avengers Doomsday might have to save the day after 3 straight flops. Today we've got new info on the reshoots and why Pedro just might lose more than Marvel can afford. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is a joy to have you. The birds outside the studio are tweeting, and so are you on X, of course. And, well, Elon says they're posts, not tweets, but who cares, folks? They're neat. And many of you are tweeting about how Pedro Pascal and the Fantastic Four are not looking swell as we get ready to go, well, into what could be the end of the superhero genre. Can Superman be saved? Can the Fantastic Four do what we need and what we crave, which is to get us back on track so that the Avengers movies can have a chance again? Well, folks, we'll take a whack at giving you the latest info on the reshoots. Let's go, panel of excellence. You click the like button. Jonas is giving me the green light, and here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this. It's out of Cosmic Book News, and it is from Matt McGloin. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go here. We're going to go to That Park Place as well. It says Marvel orders emergency reshoots for Fantastic Four ending. It's a rumor, but there's some credibility to this one because we've seen the pictures, we've seen the photos. A big rumor hits the net that offers Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios are going through emergency reshoots on the Fantastical Four First Steps, which is happening only 2 months away from the film's release. The reshoots follow Feige's failed rebranding of Thunderbolts to New Avengers, teasing the Fantastic Four in the post-credit scene. Thunderbolts is currently bombing at the box office. Oh, Matt, be still my heart. How have you been this based? That's right, it is bombing. It's worse than the Eternals, even though we like the movie. Give it a 6.6, which isn't terrible. And by gosh, by golly, I'll guarantee you that we would not give the Eternals anything above a 5. It's probably way lower than that. Much like what happened with Captain America Brave New World, which ties into the Fantastic Four reshoots rumors below as well. The reshoots are also follow the less than well-received Fantastic Four trailer, revealing the first look at Julia Garner as Silver Surfer. All of this is supposed to lead into Avengers Doomsday, so Marvel needs to hit with the Fantastic Four this summer. All right, let's get into spoiler territory according to what we got here. A couple of weeks ago, saw it confirmed that Marvel is reshooting Fantastic Four. And ladies and gentlemen, who had it first? Dun, 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 dun. It's Marvin Montanaro coming in with the win. Marvin had this. Sources report Fantastic Four ending completely reworked through last-minute reshoots. Just tooting the horn for a moment. Just tooting the horn. It says, actually theorized the reshoots involved showing Julia Garner as Shalabal getting transformed into Silver Surfer by Galactus. We're back on Cosmic Book News, by the way. All right, it's shout-out time, ladies and gentlemen. Get your shout-out horns ready. Fill the chat with the kudos emoji to Doomcock. That's right. Doomcock over that Overlord DVD is getting credit here, and we believe it is well-deserved and earned. Says, however, according to YouTuber Doomcock's sources, the reshoots involve flashback scenes of Julia Garner as Shalabal before getting transformed by Galactus in a way to humanize her so the audience becomes sympathetic to her character and storyline in the film. The rumor claims that Marvel is trying to make the female Silver Surfer look more like a hero. As reportedly, according to the YouTuber, test screening reactions have fans viewing her more as a villain, which Marvel doesn't want, especially with her being a female character. From what Garner has originally said, it seemed as if she wasn't even going to be shown as Shalal Bal in the movie. Well, apparently Marvel seems to think showing her as human will make fans like her. Credit and shout out to Doomcock over that Overlord DVD. And I believe that they may actually be live right now, which proves that we're not one and the same. And that's good because, well, we don't have a place to keep Harvey if he was over here. We're doing as much as we can with Wilton, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I want to pause there and go to the panel. We'll get into the article from That Park Place. But Culture, starting with you, Fantastic Four has a very tall order that it has to deliver up for the MCU. We have seen 2 flops in a row. This could be strike 3. We now believe, I mean, this is many sources coming together saying that the test screenings have gone very poorly. Culture, walk us through, what do they have to do to save this thing at this point? Is there even a way?
I don't believe there's a path forward that'll make it so that they can get out of the hole they've dug. I think Kevin and I have talked about this in a video we did together recently on my channel. And the background here is that Thunderbolts didn't help. In fact, it may have hurt the ending of this film because people don't want to see the failure that's going to come out of the third act of this particular film. If you pay attention to the end credit scenes, this is the problem with end credit scenes in Marvel. They haven't known what to do with them for a long time, and they telegraph what could or may be happening, which is not a good idea, especially when you so often miss the mark. And it's quite possible that the telegraph that we got isn't connected to anything else at all, and they would have wasted another one of their post-credit scenes. But regardless, if you've got inside of a 2-month period 2 major reshoots being done in that LA studio location that they've used now for these types of last ditch efforts to save things, you aren't going to have a win. You need the win well into the production of the film. You need to come back for pickups. You do not need to come back for major reshoots. And look, Julia Garner may be a fine actress. I don't know that we'll ever know, because this isn't a way to showcase her talent. Marvel films are not a place to showcase your acting. What it is a place to showcase is your ability to play a character well. And since nobody knows this character because she was relevant for all of 4 issues in a very poorly received rendition of this character, I am not thinking very positively of her, whether she's shiny and and I don't know, maybe radiant, or if she appears more human. She is the bad guy, and at least in this, because this is going to be girl on girl competition mode. And
moly,
it is.
Come again, culture. What
is mud or Jello involved?
No. It's
Pedro Pascal saw that happening. He made some recommendations on where they could put it.
Yes, indeed, and then she passed those same recommendations on to Dakota Johnson in another story. But I will say this: that my anticipation of this is going to be a female-centered superhero slugfest. And if it's not that, it's just going to be the Sue Storm or Mary Sue Storm story. And I don't think that's what we're looking forward to.
No. Culture, it can't be that way, because Mandalorian and Grogu is the slugfest. We're getting Stinky. Remember, we're getting Stinky the Hut. I know. Lauren will correct me in a minute. Before we go to Lauren to correct me on that, Kevin, here's the deal, though. Here's the dealio. If Fantastic Four fails, my understanding now, and we got basic confirmation of this, pretty close to confirmation, Nightcrawler is apparently going to be punching Pedro in the face in Avengers Doomsday. Fantastic Four is a big part of the upcoming 2 Avengers movies. If this fails, Thunderbolts, they're the new Avengers in Avengers Doomsday. Pedro Pascal is supposed to be leading the Fantastic Four into Avengers Doomsday. If these movies, if nobody cares, I mean, I think they really believe Anthony Mackie is going to be the new Captain America leading these Avengers. Nobody is going to care, and I think they've got $1.5 billion problem on their hands. What say you? Kevin, you'll have to say it unmuted, sir.
StreamYard. No, they have a really big problem. They have had more than 3 strikes. Nothing has hit since Endgame. Spider-Man doesn't count. They got to share the money with Sony. This is like their 7th up at bat, and no one cares. The stadium is emptying out. Celebrating a Thunderbolts victory is like being happy you got a 67 on your final exam. You passed, but did you? Did you? What again? I bet if we did a Google Analytics, there are more people talking about Fan 4 Stick right now than talking about this Fantastic Four. No one cares. This is deader than disco, and I'm sure I can think of something deader than that. It's over, Johnny. It's over.
It's over like disco. Man, what a
I'll
reference.
tell you what, guys, this does explain, however, why they were able even to afford Robert Downey Jr., because considering the weakness of all of these so-called heroes, Victor Von Doom could beat them in the first 20 minutes of the movie and twiddle his thumbs for the rest of it.
Yeah.
So, he didn't have to show up much. About 2 weeks of shooting and he's done.
Done out of there, make $1 billion or so. I don't know. Hey, let's go to Marvin, though. Marvin, you've been doing research into this. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's plenty of smoke now. It's looking more and more likely that these reshoots happened, that they were based on very poor screening results. And it may be also that they're trying to scramble at the last minute to fix whatever's going on in the MCU, that audiences simply don't click with these movies anymore.
Big time. And look, the Fantastic Four is a comic book fans love the Fantastic Four. Comic book fans, hold the Fantastic Four up on a pedestal. The movie going public, however, I mean, there has been one Fantastic Four movie that did moderately well. That would be that first one in the aughts. But for the most part, this is a property that doesn't hit every time it comes up to bat. It's not I don't think it's a property that a lot of casual fans really have a connection to. I think to a lot of them, it's kind of on the level of Ant-Man, like something maybe that they like peripherally knew about, but didn't really like they know that it's a superhero thing, but they don't know exactly what it is. And this Shia LaBeouf thing, I mean, you could show her silver, you could show her gold, you could show her fleshy. That doesn't matter. It's still not the Silver Surfer. And that's going to be the problem that people have with this movie. The fact that they moved ahead on this after all of the woke backlash started blowing up in their face, and they had an opportunity to course correct and just make this the regular Silver Surfer. And they decided, nah, you know what? We're going to still go ahead and gender swap the Silver Surfer because identity politics just proves that Kevin Feige is not only incapable of changing, he just doesn't want to change. We have seen this studio fail on an epic level, not only creatively, not only at the box office, but we just saw the VFX department be able to unionize and take them to the cleaners with a newly ratified contract because Victoria Alonso was abusing people allegedly behind the scenes. This is an absolute nightmare studio, and it is beyond saving. The X-Men can't do it. The Fantastic Four can't do it. The Avengers can't do it. No one can save it at this point, especially not the X-Men if they're going in the direction that we've heard they might be going.
Oh, Cynthia, surely not. Surely not. Cynthia Erivo can't play Storm because a slight breeze would take her out. She'd be out in the stratosphere. Lauren,
yeah, but those nails are great lightning rods.
Well, maybe she should play. I don't know which X-Men character has really long nails.
I think they could put her in the new Street Fighter movie that they're casting as Dalzim.
Oh, perfect. Yoga Flame. Hey, Lauren, you're in the stratosphere. Walk us through what you think's going to go on with the attempt to save the MCU. Any chance here? And is Pedro part of the plan?
I'm not sure about what they're going to do with the reshoots. I'll tell you what I think they should do, or what they should have done is maybe the more proper way to put it. I guess I have a question to start with, though. Do we know if we show the Fantastic Four initially going into space and encountering the cosmic storm and being changed into the Fantastic Four, or are they the Fantastic Four at the start of the movie, which is what I think is happening? Do we know?
My understanding of this film is that they are the Fantastic Four at the start of the movie. We might get maybe a flashback sequence in the beginning, but they have been the Fantastic Four for quite a while, from my understanding.
Yeah, my understanding is we get a flashback.
That's kind of what I expected. Here's what I think they should have done. I think because this movie is taking place in the 60s, that if you were going to watch the movies chronologically, you would have Captain America, the first Avenger, and then you'd be going to Fantastic Four. And being as this is a 60s movie and you're going to be dealing with all of this, instead of focusing on the marital stuff between Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm, you have to show that origin. I know people are tired of origin stories, but you start off with them going to space, coming back transformed, and dealing with essentially what's a body horror thing while they're trying to cope with the fact that they're now very different people than when they left Earth. And then into all of that, you have part of which we've seen in the trailer, the understanding that by going up there, they attracted the attention of something else. Tonally, what this should be is the day the Earth stood still. This is when the Earth discovers that we are much smaller and more vulnerable than we thought we were. And that's where the tension in the thing comes from. I think this the Silver Servette should actually be scary because she's the Herald of Galactus in this, and Galactus is very, very scary. You should be getting otherworldly threats that feel like this could be a universe-ending event. And my suspicion is, and I think this is probably what they're going to do, it does. They don't succeed, and we know this because of the little teaser at the end of Thunderbolts that shows their rocket mysteriously arriving in modern day Earth. I'm guessing this is the multiversal thing that they're still going to kind of drag into this a little bit. And I'm also betting that by the end of it, that you're going to swap out Shalabel for Norrin Rad. I think
I'm going to push back on you on that one, Lauren. I don't think they're going to give such a dark ending. While it probably would be the best ending, I think it's going to be something more akin to they have to like push Galactus through a multiversal rift to get rid of him, and the Fantastic Four go through the rift with him at the end. That's how I think it's going to end. I can't imagine they're going to do that.
That's the case, then if that's the case, then Doomsday has to start with our Earth dealing with Galactus, and that's a bigger problem.
Yeah, I just want to add something really quick. So they're doing these reshoots, right? Because the audience isn't vibing with the Silver Surfette. Showing her as a human is not going to humanize the character. First of all, by gender swapping her, you removed an essential component to the character. When Norrin Rad chooses to become Galactus's herald, he gives up his entire, well, not just his people, but his entire existence for being. He loved her with the entirety of his being. It is a super noble sacrifice. So fine, you can try to mimic that, but there's a certain like a just old school storytelling masculine trope about sacrifice that does not translate well when you gender swap it. And this is why the characters are probably most likely not connecting. Also, too, listen, she's a great actress, but the Surfer is also a very noble, very stoic, very commanding character. There is nothing remotely about her that emotes gravitas, that emotes power, that commands your attention. You know, the super shrilly, you've got to kill me if you want to stop me. That's the only thing I think of with her. There are certain things you need that you cannot replace when you make dumb decisions like this. It doesn't matter what how many cups you shuffle to try to take away from the fact that you gender swap the character and the swap isn't working. Her being human for an extra 30 seconds in the movie isn't going to change the essential flaws in the story and the essential flaws in the character. This is just some intern on the marketing team who did a 30-second Google search and pulled up a stupid stat that said, "Hey, maybe we can lessen the bleeding by showing her be a little more human because some focus group somewhere said she tested well." You're just wasting more money instead of doing the thing they should have done to begin with.
They knew when they made this decision that the girl power MCU nonsense was the thing that was killing them. And they made this, they had plenty of time to reverse course. They made this decision fully knowing how unpopular it was going to be. They have done this to themselves.
At least we didn't get girl thing, because that would have been something. Vash, I want to give you a chance to weigh in on this, and then I want to go to culture for the final word. Go ahead, Vash.
Yeah, I look at the Marvel MCU right now and where it's at and how nobody's excited. And I think Lauren, Kevin, I think you're really really spot on. I don't know. I think it was Jonas who said it. The Fantastic Four, at least what we see at the trailers, it's like a sequel to a movie we never saw. And it's that's going to be really difficult to get people to resonate with these characters because we're probably going to be told that we have to like them. We're probably going to be told about their history, but without having actually seen it, it's going to be, like I said, difficult to resonate. And so I can definitely see why they're having problems, and they really do need this to work. That's the ironic part. And yet it might not work out at all, which, by the way, that seems to be Fantastic Four's history, and that's really, really sad. But I mean, it's all leading up to Doomsday, and I just don't know if they can stick that landing. Go ahead, Culture.
No, look, just to add to what you're saying and to wrap this up, I'm going to say that kind of incongruity with the audience expectations is going to be a problem. You're introducing them to a future past of some sort that's kind of, out of line with maybe anything else they've ever been exposed to. They're going to be being introduced to a new female version of the Surfer. There's obviously a lot of incongruity with the characters and their behavior patterns if we're going to get a male feminist Torch, or perhaps he plays for the other team. And there's all these other things that are being introduced here that aren't inconsistent with the original stories and art styles from that period of time where Stan and Kirby were introducing a lot of these high concept kinds of ideas around travel in the future and everything else. I think that's going to be a problem going forward. I think that they've kind of lost the plot. They've lost the audience. I mean, Kevin and everybody here has spoken eloquently on the fact that nobody wants to do homework. Nobody thinks these things stitch together well, even if you've done your homework. And this has become more of a long-term, study group that you feel like you're not even interested in the subject anymore. I think Marvel's lost a lot of steam. I think you're about to see everything that was bad about the worst of Marvel return in one movie. And I think Marvin was right as well. When you look at the centering of the female once again, which is what this film is all about. I mean, we're getting more Rosie the Riveter kind of stuff, and look how that's working out for Katy Perry.
Can I add a button on this thing?
Button it up, Lou. Button it up.
If you don't care about canon, and you don't care about the past, and you don't care about anything other than, well, we've got this thing called Fantastic Four and we own it, what can we do with it? How many movies have been made before this? At least 3, as I remember.
3 that were released, 4 have been made.
Right.
Corman,
so,
yeah.
Forgetting about the past as far as the story is concerned per se, and the canon and all that, isn't your first obligation as a company, as a filmmaker, as an artist, as a creator, to say, how come those other 3 didn't work? And figure out what they did, trying hard to do it right, wrong as far as the audience was concerned. I don't get the sense that anybody has given that 5 minutes of thought. It's all, well, what can we do with them? Well, what if we did this? Well, what if we did that? As opposed to, let's first do no harm by not repeating the mistakes of the past. And if we understand those mistakes, as far as not maybe intention, but audience reaction, maybe they'll give us a clue what the audience might actually be willing to spend money on. But that doesn't happen here. That does not happen here.
We'll keep an eye on it. Fantastic Four looking like it may be the end of open doors for Marvel, leading to a place they don't want to be. Avengers Doomsday, underperforming badly. Flop, they can't afford it, but they might have to. Put this baby to bed. This video is over. Turn off the lights, but not quite yet, folks, because we do ask one final thing before we say goodbye, and that is, would you consider clicking the like button? Share, subscribe, click it and stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. Also greatly appreciated, anytime you would like to share this out on your favorite social media platforms, well, we would love that. And we'd also love to hear your thoughts. Folks, drop a comment down below and use that beautiful mind of yours. If you would not mind, we'd love to know what you're thinking. Also, if you would like to become a member of the channel, it's as simple as clicking the join button. It is the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of new, cool, exclusive information. Folks, until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw, because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. I mean, she's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... Okay, call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.